All right, boys and girls, welcome to Math Lesson 11.4. Today, we are going to be learning a new concept about area. So let's take a look at some of the words that you are going to need to know today. So let's see if I choose a color. Here's my pointer. Okay. So our first word is area. Area is the measure of the number of unit squares needed to cover a flat surface. Okay, so I have a picture here of area. So area is what is inside a unit square. So the inside of a shape. How much room does that shape take up is the area. The other word we need to know for today is unit square. Unit square is a square with a side length of 1 unit. So here we have a picture of a square, and on the outside you can see that each length is 1 unit. Now we've already learned about perimeter, so if we thought about this unit square would have a perimeter of 1, 2, 3, 4 units. All right. And the area, again, if we were to look at the area of this unit square, the area would be in here. And the area would just be 1 squared unit. So 1 squared unit, the area on the inside of the square. Okay, let's move on to our numeracy question. So our numeracy question we're going to be learning together so I can explain my thinking and also try to understand others. So this is a piece of review from our previous lessons. And our first numeracy question is first we have to find the perimeter. So let's read our question. Jesse is putting a ribbon around a square frame. So we've already learned one key piece of information. Let's see. So we are making a square frame. Now I might even draw a picture of a square. Trying my best to make those side lengths even. Okay, there's my square. Now, unfortunately, with this tool, it's a little bit difficult, but that's our square. He uses 24 inches of ribbon. How long is each side of the frame? Okay, so all together we have a long piece of ribbon, and we're putting that ribbon around a square frame, and he uses 24 inches. So here's 24 inches of ribbon. Make sure I have my unit, 24 inches, and he's going to wrap it around this square. So how do we know how long each side is? Because right now we only have one number to work with, 24 inches. Well, how many sides is a square? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 sides. All right. So what we can do is we can take our 24 and we can make an array. So we know we need to get this into 4 groups, 2, 3, 4, and we can make an array till we get to 24. So we're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now I can see how much is in each group. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in each group. So now I know the length of each side is 6 inches. Okay, so to answer my question, how long is each side? It is 6 inches. All right, and we use division to solve for this question. All right, now today in shared math, what our goal is I can measure the number of unit squares needed to cover a flat surface. So let's take a look at our first question involving area. Use your geoboard to form a figure made from 2 unit squares. Record the figure on this dot paper here. What is the area of this figure? All right, now if you take a look at this dot paper and you just stare at it, you'll see that squares actually already pop out at us, right? So what we need to do is we need to create a figure with 2 unit squares. Okay, so made from 2 unit squares. And actually, let's just erase a little bit of that. 2 unit squares. And I'm just going to take, let's make this a little smaller. Okay, so I'm going to take my pen. I'm going to start connecting. So now I've made 1 unit square. Okay, and 2. So now I've made a shape that is 2 unit squares big. All right. Now, if we look at this shape, there's 2 separate shapes. So what we want to do is, hopefully it won't erase all my work. I just want to erase this middle part. Eraser. Maybe I got to use this eraser. Oh, okay. Looks like it erased it. Back to my pen. So I erased this middle part because if I made a line here, that would be 2 separate shapes. I want a figure that is 2 unit squares. So I drew that line in the middle to show us that it was 2 squares, but you can see that this shape has a total of 2 squares, right? There's 1 square right here, and our second square is right here. So figure 1, figure 2, 2 unit squares. So what is the area of this figure? Our area equals 2 square units. It's made out of 2 squares on our geoboard. Let's take a look at another one. So now it wants us to make a shape out of 4 unit squares. Find the area of each figure. So now I have to use 4 of these squares to make a shape. Okay, now when I look at this, I can already see some squares pop out. So I'm going to make a line. I'm going around. And now you can see in this shape, let's see if I pick a different color. Let's just pick green here and we'll go across because I've made a shape and I'm just going to highlight how you can see. If I go across here, you can see there's 1 unit square here. If I connect this one, we have a second unit square. We have our third unit square and our fourth unit square. So now our area, we're going to count up our squares to get our area. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We now have 4 square units. All right. Okay. Now let's make another one. Maybe I'll make a different shape this time. And if it helps, actually, you know what? I'm going to go back to red. So let's make another shape. If I click off, okay, good. So I need to make another one out of 4 unit squares. Remember, our squares is just, we're making a shape out of 4 different squares. So maybe I'll do this. Okay, you know what? I want to use this square. And okay, so this is going to be 1 square. And I want to go this way. Keep it going. I can't go any farther. Okay, this is my second square because look, I've used another square. Okay, let's go this way. Oh, my shape has used another square because if I closed it off. Okay, and if I keep going this way, now I have 4 unit squares, and I can check my work. I'm going back to the green. I can check my work. I've made it 1 shape. This is 1 shape, right? It doesn't have any edges. But to check my work, I can just lightly, I can make sure, okay, is this a square? Yep, I've used 1 unit square. I've used 2 unit squares, 3, and 4. Now to find my area equals how many square units did I use? How many squares did I use in my shape? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I used 4 square units. All right, let's take a look at our next one. So our next one is, a little bit of an odder shape. It looks kind of like this. So let's see. It says shade each unit square in the figure shown. Count the unit squares to find the area. So that's okay. So we're going to look inside this shape because remember, area is how many unit squares it takes up inside a shape. So I'm just going to find all the squares inside this shape. So let's stick with my green and I'm going to find all the unit squares. Okay, and then it wants me to shade in, so I'm going to shade in a little bit. And you know what? And just to make it easier for counting, I'm going to put a number 1. And I'm going to make another square inside this shape. Okay. 2. And I'll do a little bit of shading. So we know this is a shape. 2. I like putting the numbers inside the squares because it makes it a little bit easier and also faster to count. Okay, 3, a little bit of shading. Another square. We've made another square. 4, and I'm just going to finish it off by counting 5 and our last square 6. Okay, so then I'd go back and count. I'd say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mr. Skazen, I count 6 different squares inside my shape. So that must mean, Mr. Skazen, that the area equals 6 square units. I've used 6 squares in total. All right, let's check out our word problem for today. So Nicole's mother put tiles on a section of their kitchen floor. The section included 5 rows, Okay, 5 rows with 4 tiles. Oh, this kind of sounds like one of our questions earlier where we made an array in each row. Each tile cost $2. How much money did Nicole's mother spend on the tiles? So how much money did Nicole's mother spend? All right, so let's start off. First, we need to find out how many tiles there are. So let's start by drawing our array. We know we have to make 5 rows. Okay, let's make sure this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have our 5 rows. So we can check that off. And we have 4 tiles in each row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. So we could solve this 2 ways. One, we could count up the number of tiles. So we go, okay, Mr. Skazen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So I know there are 20 tiles. And some of you might have said, Mr. Skazen, you know what? I don't need to make an array. I already know what to do. So I saw there was 5 rows with 4 tiles, and I knew that meant I had to multiply. So you might have also solved it this way. Okay. Point is, we have 20 tiles. Okay, so we did this part. And now we are on to our second part, which is each tile cost $2. How much money did Nicole's mother spend on the tiles? Okay, so each one of these tiles is worth $2. So I could put a 2 and I could skip count by 2s, but that would take me a long time to skip count by 2s. So I might actually label this. Let's label this part 1, because this is a 2-part question. Part 1, and maybe I'll choose a different color. Let's do part 2 in orange. Part 2. Okay, so we have 20 tiles. And times by 2. Okay, another way we could show this that we've learned how to do is 20. And this also means, another way we have learned to do this is 20 plus 20, because we have 20 2 times. So 1 time, 2 times, 20 2 times. So let's solve. Let's do our addition first. So 0 plus 0 is 0. 2 plus 2 is 4. So it would cost us $40. And we can check our work. 0 times 2 is 0. 2 times 2 is 4. And that would come out to $40. So we've checked our work. You could do it either way. So let's answer our question with our sentence to get our full marks. And So we would say, Mr. Skazen, Nicole's mother spent $40 on tiles. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson on area. If you could go to Class Kick now and look for your exit slip called 11.4 Work Day 1.